Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. I'm so glad you're here. We have so much to discuss today. More experts are getting involved. We have lots to discuss. We're watching the downfall of the duplicitous duo, the dastardly duo, and I'm here for it, and I want to talk about it. There's more to discuss, but this time I've brought in a name expert. I can't even get through that without laughing. My name expert, Jay, say hello.
Hi, I'm an expert on names, especially mine. This is Jay. You may also know me as Dr. Bad Vibes. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch. And yeah, we're watching the downfall of these. Well, that's what we've been doing for like the past year at least.
Yeah, but this time
They're
it's gaining speed.
Yeah, they've been falling like Hans Gruber off of Nakatomi Plaza since
Oh!
at least a year ago, year plus. Super slow mo.
Uh-huh. Love the analogy. Also, definitely watch his Die Hard coverage. It's so funny. But yeah, these two continue to be the worst kind of supervillain. I mean, there is no too low that they won't sing to. So Jay, again, where are your priorities? He's been working a lot this week. But I've been keeping him up to date on this name of it all. What are your initial thoughts on being the absolute worst to this family, talking about the royal family, accusing them of such heinous things, and then stealing the name, and I am saying stealing, but being accused of taking this name that wasn't, I mean, it was publicly known, but it wasn't a nickname for the public. This was a private name that meant so much to Her Majesty, the late Queen.
Yeah, Jen's kept me up to date on it. The whole thing's kind of messed up, but I guess to summarize it, if you were to take the whole general idea, put it in the crucible of public opinion, and distill it down to the very base level, it's a violation of privacy and trust.
Yes.
They took a childhood nickname that was important to her and her family, the Queen, and just kind of gave it to this kid just to prove a point, I guess, just to be dicks.
Yeah.
And then it sounds. I mean, it just sounds like it's just to be mean, which goes along with other things that happened towards the end of her life, the Queen, and that's not cool. I mean, we've brought that up a lot. It's like it's like Meghan and I guess Harry by his complacence, they made it their job to just terrorize this lady in her twilight years.
Damn, that's so spot on. It is. It's a violation of privacy and trust, which is funny because then immediately in my head popped that South Park, we want privacy.
But only for us, unless you're giving us money. Then do whatever, but give us money.
You're exactly right. It's only for them. The rules never apply to themselves. They just put out these rules with everybody else. And even I think about Harry, even at the end of his book, he basically said, like, I hope for more private talks with my dad and brother in the future. It's something so ridiculous along those lines. As we all know, you can't expect any privacy out of these two, not when they have money to make and lies to sell. There is an interesting article to discuss. We are going to get there. There are just a few other things on my mind I wanted to address. So many of you guys in the comments have called, I think especially Meghan, but Meghan and Harry both, parasite. And I can think of no other explanation of the two that better fits. They're parasites. So many of you have recommended I watch the Angela Levin quote, and I love her. I love her, especially when her and Anna get together. But so Angela Levin went on GB News and explains that Meghan had taken out copyrights. I think she's referring to, because you can't copyright a name, so people are like, I don't know about that. I think I'm interpreting it as taking out registering websites and things all around this name that I refuse to say. Again, let's go back to the time frame. They did the Oprah interview in March of 2021. Lily came about in June of 2021. They were busy during that time, right? I mean, putting out these lies, trying to register names, trying to mess with the royal family, trying to cause chaos, be monsters. They're busy, right? And then we get this heartbreaking quote that's come out and is circulating now that says, allegedly the Queen had said, I don't own the palaces or the paintings, only my name. Now they've taken that.
So that's a depressing statement resulting from two vindictive family members, which, again, take the Queen, the title out of the equation. It's screwing with Grandma. she's looking down at part of her family that's actively like attacking her, and all she can do is watch. It's cruel. And in her case, yeah, I mean, she doesn't really technically own anything. She is leaving behind a legacy that's probably going to be untouched by anyone for a very long time, if ever, probably never. But they took the one thing they could from her name, and violated her privacy. Even if it was public knowledge, I mean, it's not like it sounds like they did not have the blessing to do that, nor would I understand why they would. It's a very personal thing to just kind of arbitrarily pass down for no reason or context, especially when it sounded like they were already at odds. It's like, hey, mom or dad who I don't get along with, I want to name this kid after you, even though we can't stand each other. Be like, what?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. They're two spoiled brats, and in my opinion, they did this to show, look, the Queen gave her seal of approval. She even let them name this kid this, right? I mean, that was clunky, but you get what I'm saying. It's like a implied approval, which it sounds like was never there. But these two grifters will use anything to their, I don't know, money making. And so they did it. Now, my personal belief is that they did it for money making, but also I'm going to say Meghan did it because it's the meanest thing she could think to do. I really think she just believes that she should have been, I don't even want to say treated differently, because she was treated differently, but in the opposite way that she claimed. She was given permissions that Catherine, Princess of Wales, was not. Meghan was giving more opportunities, more. They were really bending over backwards for her, is what I'm trying to say, and in a way that Catherine had to work years to get those opportunities. So to do this on top of everything else, it just says so much about the two of them.
As you were saying that made me think of something. Another angle that I haven't really heard discussed. I mean, obviously this is between them and the Queen, but what about the kid? Like, sometimes you'd be like, hey, why'd you name me Sam? Why'd you name me Sally?
Why'd you name me Jane?
Why'd you name me Lilibet? It's like, I hated your grandma. It's like, that's your identity. You're the embodiment of my hate for your for your dad's side of the family. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Like, that's more abusive than naming your kid Blanket.
Yeah. Oh, wow. But Jay, that implies that they give a crap about those kids. Come on. No, but truly, you're right. Imagine finding out that you were named something out of spite. I just can't wrap my head around that, and hopefully never will be able to wrap my head around that, because that's a level of evil I'm not interested in. Going back to Angela 11, the reason I bring her up is not just she did a great job explaining that they were doing all this stuff behind the scenes, working on this name. She brought up such a good point. I'm sitting here pointing out, I think Meghan did it to show, oh, see, the Queen loves us, we can use her name, that kind of thing. And also in case the kids didn't get titles, she would still have a royal association, is my opinion. But then Angela points out, if the Queen was still alive, let's say, and they had these, I don't usually say the name, I'm going to say it here, they had this Lilibet products, right? These things that they're trying to sell. She brought up the idea of like gloves, right? And it has the name Lilibet on it. Some people not in the know that don't follow all this stuff will think it's an endorsement from the Queen. So it's a way to monetize with the Queen, if that, Her Majesty the late Queen. So that's why people are having such a big reaction to this. I'm so glad, and I keep saying this, I'm so glad it's coming out like this, because then the people that haven't been following this is one that it's hard to argue any other. It's hard not to see what horrible monsters they were in this scenario. I just can't see the other side of this. I don't know how you would explain this away. I'm sure the sugars will find a way. I don't know how you explain this away, and you can't. It truly is, disgusting behavior. All right, let's talk about this article that's come out, and this is courtesy of the Daily Mail, and it says it's by Maureen Callahan. We all have one insufferable family member. The royals have Harry and Meghan. And when the gruesome twosome, Jay loves that name for them so much, enraged the Queen by co-opting and adopting her private nickname, they proved there is no low too low. You see why I had to talk about this? This headline hooked me. That's great. Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
As if we need further proof that Harry and Meghan hold nothing sacred. Well, here it is. We now know the rage that the late Queen Elizabeth is said to have felt when the Sussex's suckasses named their daughter Lilibet, the Queen's nickname, used only by the very few closest to her. And as the Daily Mail's Rebecca English reports, the Queen is said to have told her aides, quote, again, I don't own the palaces, I don't own the paintings, the only thing I own is my name, and now they've taken that.
Oh,
heartbreaking.
Devastating. Then goes on to say, this is extraordinary. A woman who had been famous her entire life, who understood the media and took pride in never displaying her emotions in public, who exercised the greatest discretion even in private, was apparently so upset she couldn't restrain herself. Perhaps the historian in her well knew her true feelings would eventually come out. Oh, it's just so heartbreaking to hear this stuff and to think of it in these terms. You know, it's just a new level, a new low for Harry and Meghan, and it truly disgusts me. And I always have the nicest comment saying, I can hear it in your voice. It does. I've just never seen anything like this. And I've read some messed up stuff, but this is, I can't make it more eloquent. This is one of the most messed up things I've ever heard.
Yeah, they can't go any lower. I mean, they're looking for jobs. They're looking for ways to make money. Maybe they should be like limbo champions because no one can go lower.
Nice.
Anyways, the Queen's private nickname, unique as a fingerprint, bestowed after her own mispronunciation of Elizabeth as a toddler, used by her late father and husband, who had died only recently, was co-opted and adopted by the gruesome twosome. I love that name. Always Sunny fans represent.
Can you do the noise one time?
Gruesome twosome. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Anyway, think about it. If Harry and Meghan had wished to honor the late Queen, surely they could have chosen Elizabeth or any other derivation. Exactly. That was even before knowing this drama, that was my thought too. It's like, that's an odd choice, but okay. Instead, they had to choose the one ineffable thing that belonged only to her. It felt like an embarrassingly needy, if not vengeful, choice. One perhaps driven by a bitterness at not getting everything they wanted. I'm shocked. And not being recognized as the stars, the game changers they so dementedly think they are. I mean, that's a pretty good point. And as, Jim was talking about, perspective of Elizabeth being the historian she is. I mean, this is a way to pretty much permanently attach their branch of the family to Elizabeth by co-opting her name.
Yeah.
So that, it was really a double-edged sword. They're like, okay, we can hurt her and serve our own needs and desires at the same time.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We suck.
Yes. That is hilarious. It's hard for me to oscillate, if you will. Don't do it, Jay. Don't do it. It's hard for me to oscillate between the severe emotions I feel about this situation and stealing Her Majesty the late Queen's nickname, her private name. But I do have to say, my mind was wandering and I was thinking, oh man, what nickname would of Jay's, I give him a million nicknames, but what nickname would it really bother me if somebody stole? But I don't think anybody will name their baby shitbag anytime soon. No way, I'm totally kidding. I would never call him that. I got into a world of hurt one time because I jokingly called him a douchebag and everybody reacted. I was like, no. He's in on the joke. It's fine.
Although as profane as that name would be, it would be appropriate for a baby because we all know babies be pooping. But yeah, again, Jen's just joking. But hey, thanks to everybody that defended my honor. Honk, honk. We're in the club.
Okay, so then they go on and cite, this is all coming out because of this new book, King Charles III, comes out, I don't know what day this is going up, but I think this Thursday. Again, we're headed out of town for the weekend, so my plan is to pick it up and start it next week. I'm very excited about that. It'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see, but I'll start it next week. Very excited. All right, recollections do vary, meaning these two are horrible liars who lie. According to close sources, the Queen didn't feel so much asked as informed. Taken by complete surprise when Harry called with news of the daughter's birth and their intention to name her that.
In her wisdom, the Queen felt no other option but to say yes. Imagine if she had said no. Imagine the whining and moaning and cries of victimhood to follow. The implications that the Queen wouldn't allow her mixed-race granddaughter to be named after her, shades of the racist royal catastrophe. There's no low too low for Harry and Meghan, after all. No trust they will not break, no version of events they will not try to spin in their favor. And of course, nothing and no one they won't try to monetize. Cha-ching. They registered their daughter's full name, Lilibet Diana, on several domains online, even before she was born. Beautiful tribute, that.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm so glad this lady brings this up, Maureen Callahan. I'm so glad she brings this up. And that's exactly what they would have done. I was so outraged by taking the name. I didn't even think about it. If the Queen had said no, this would have been part of the narrative. Like, oh, it's not okay for me to use this. I don't know. They would have tried to spin it and make themselves the victims even more. I'm still not okay with them doing it. And I do wish the Queen had said no, but I understand the point being made here, which I'm not putting it on the Queen. It's not her fault. It's just so wrong what they did to this 90-something-year-old woman, going through all this, having lost her husband. We know all the things, the Queen, and then putting her in this position and then telling her that's what they're going to do. It's like, oh God, the rage I feel for these two. I don't know how else to sum it up.
How betrayed the Queen must have felt. Her own grandson, who claimed that he was her favorite, that theirs was a special relationship, as he wrote in Spare. Took what he knew was most dear to her, and he allowed his wife to heavily imply to Oprah and a global audience of millions that the royals were the ist word. The Queen knew, as she grieved her husband and advanced in her own old age, that Harry and Meghan were doing so much damage to the monarchy, for which she had sacrificed so much for so long. Oh. I mean, exactly. I mean, she was in her 90s at that point, so she got to just watch all this unfold, presumably as her health deteriorated, and whatever mental toll that took on her. It's just cruel.
This is why I liked this article so much. I think it so clearly explains the things that we're all outraged at. So continuing on, she says, if that wasn't enough, the Queen also had to abide their continued insistence of a closeness to her. The cleanup they attempted after Oprah, stating that it was neither the Queen nor Prince Philip who made these alleged comments about baby Archie, was indicative how much they needed her to peddle their wares in Hollywood. Harry and Meghan are nothing without the royal family, and they know it. Can we read that again? Because that's perfect. Harry and Meghan are nothing without the royal family, and they know it. Well, I would hope that they know it. They're pretty delusional, but I get what she's saying. So Harry trots out this special relationship. Meghan moons about the Queen sharing her blanket in the back of the car, all while forcing the Queen to endure vile slights and cruelties in the last years of her life. Oh, does anybody else feel like screaming right now? Because I do. I feel like I want to cry and scream and all the things. To do that to Her Majesty the late Queen after everything that she had done for Harry and for Meghan, and that's the way they treated her at the end. Oh, God. Just brutal. And I'm so glad that finally everybody else is seeing it too. And of course, I don't mean you guys. I'm glad the rest of the world is catching on to their nonsense. The article continues on, but I really wanted to get these parts out and discuss it, and we have. And again, I'm sick over this stuff, and I feel it in the comments. You guys are too. But again, I'm glad that everybody else can see it so clearly, just what they've done. I mean, it's brutal. So as usual, this is where I want you guys to chime in on the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Just all of it. Just keep writing me, because you guys are keeping me sane. I love reading your reactions to this. What are your thoughts on all this? What are your thoughts on what Angela Levin was saying? What are your thoughts to this article? Just let me know all of it. You guys are the best. Thank you for everything. Jay, tell everyone where to find you.
Well, when I'm not here, you can find me on other parts of YouTube as Dr. Bad Vibes and Dr. Bad Vibes Speaks. That's where I talk about stuff. And sometimes I stream live to those channels and twitch.tv/Dr. Bad Vibes. And I'm on camera. So if you want to see me, if you haven't, there you go. And I think that's all I have. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Bye.
What nickname of yours can I steal?
Um, Captain, Captain Handsome,
Oh,
Muscle Man.
all right. Oh my goodness, Captain Handsome Muscle Man. Captain Handsome Muscle Man has been very busy working on designing new emojis. If you're part of that club, if you've hit that join button, those should be out. Well, again, we're leaving town for a couple days, but hopefully next week we'll unveil, roll those out, whatever the word is. We'll roll those out. Yeah, we'll unleash them. And we're very excited because he's been working very hard on them. What else? Thank you to everybody who's picked up the merch. Not Bloody Likely is still one of, I mean, it's been incredible. You guys have really responded well to that. I'm so happy about that. Recollections may vary. In a world of Meghan's being Catherine, thank you guys so much for your incredible response to all that. And if you haven't checked it out, check out the merch. And also, if you want to further support, check out Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. That's where you can get your name added to this list by becoming an executive producer. That's where we have bonus deep dives and content, all the stuff you know about. But thank you guys for all your love and support. Can't wait to read your comments on this one. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.